विश्वेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वन्देऽहं योऽखिलं जगत् चरीकर्ति बरीभर्ति सञ्जरीहर्ति लीलया सर्वेभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः. So, Mahodaya, we should directly go to the topic, or any some introductory part or anything is required?
You can introduce yourself and then just take it from there.
Okay, fine. So, I think the name is more than sufficient. So myself, Manthan, and I did engineering, and after engineering, there is one verse in Srimad Bhagavad Gita which I want to quote, and want to start with that particular verse, that Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prathak vidham vividhascha prathak cheshta daivam chaivatra pancham. So after doing engineering and learning from the pure science field, how all this Sanskritam ityadikam, all the Vishaya came. So I completely feel like Daivam Chaivatra Pancham. So with the Sudaiva, I got the opportunity to learn all these things. Okay, so as the topic we have, so we need to justify the topic, right? That expedition from Jnana Grahanam to Jnanotpattihi, that is what we are having. So this pictorial, after observing this picture, it's very fundamental and very simple. That there is one kid who is eating one particular fruit, right? So analogically, considering that as the grahanam of something, jnana grahanam. Metaphorically, we can say that particular this kid, the small kid, is taking something. So that is the grahanam, accepting. So the absorbing phase means maybe the food for the sake of nutrition, or it may be the knowledge which we had when we were a kid, right? And anyway, from whenever we start, Balanam Sukhabodhaya Kriyate Tarka Sangraha. Even the Annam Bhatt Mahodaya say, it's not just about the age, it's about those who are not having that introductory phase. So when we are having the learning phase or absorbing phase, we can say the Jnana Grahanam. But after devoting many years in the one particular Vishaya, if we are having something, means Spuryate, Navinyam Spuryate Tatra. So definitely there will be the Jnanotpattihi for sure. If we are nurturing the particular plant, so there will be the growth for sure. And that is required actually. That we got knowledge for particular Vishaya, let's say. But if we are not planting something which we had this particular fruit. After a few years, maybe few decades, so it becomes the responsibility that we also have the utpatti of the jnana in the form of teacher. So we may nurture the student in the same way we learn, that content we learn. But sometimes we can go beyond that by discovering the things, means making the new things. And that comes under the research phase. That's what I feel. So that's what we'll be talking about, which a few weeks back we had the conference, and many scholars, eminent scholars from the different part of India, of a different age group, integrated at the same place and shared their thoughts very finely on the different Vishaya. This is very famous quote, right? Pinde matir binna. So we have a different mati in all the different intellect, but when they compile together with the same root, because it is not like someone came for the individual swartha, it is just for the sake of sharing what they are having since this Prachin Indic knowledge system. So we all are aware that this becomes our responsibility from Jnana Grahanam to Jnanotpattihi. And very small part I try to do that in the Mangala Charanam, there is one verse of Leelavati. So this discovering thing phase came where I tried to compile or compose a verse in the particular chanda, precisely Mandakranta. In the Mandakranta chanda, where we can get the area of the square. And when we have the three-dimensional of that particular square, it becomes a cube, right? For example, this pen drive is cuboid because this is the rectangle. If I project this, the projection of this particular object is going to be the rectangle, which is two-dimensional. And if I have the width in that two-dimensional projection, it becomes three-dimensional. So for rectangle, it would be a cuboid. But let's say I'm having a square. So if I'm having a square, you can observe over here. See, this is the temple I past year we visited with a few Sanskrit learners. So this is the square, right? If we project this, this temple is in Karnataka, Hoysala temple. This is the Garbhagruha, and these are the different pillars. So the topic actually relates three things: science, technology, and the architecture of our ancient India. So in this particular thing, with the primary thing with the Shraddha, we see that, okay, this is the temple. So let's go to the darshan, or let's just go as the visiting place and come back. But from the glass of discoverer or the, let's say, scientist, that discovering phase, if this is a square, if we are having the three-dimensional projection of that square, it becomes cube. So, and one thing, see, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 to 9 parallel pillars here we are having, right? In the right side also, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the same way they are there, parallel, not 1 inch here, not 1 inch there. And I'm not randomly just saying for the sake of saying. You go there to this particular Hoysala temple in Karnataka, near Mysore, few hundreds kilometers from Mysore. So they, and thousands of years back, they are having a great, means right now we are having the micrometer screw gauge and the vernier caliper, etc., to measure at the very microscopic scale. But here, this square and the cube they are having. So dimension of all the cube you measure, you will get the same exact precise dimension. Okay. This is the circle. So that circular part, that is also in the three-dimensional. So that becomes the cylinder. So it's not entirely cylinder because the diameter of different rings are there in between. Sometimes diameter is increased and then diameter is being decreased. But for one pillar, it's fine. Okay, here we have 12 inch, here we have 15 inch, then here we have 8 inch. Okay, fine. But for all the pillar, at all the particular place, you will get the same thing. It means the measurement was very fantastic. And here, there are, in the rainy season also, the water also faces this particular pillars. And water also faces here at this particular pillars. But after thousands of years, here we had a grass. Okay, we asked them, the person, the scholastic person who stays there, and who is having the very much information regarding this temple. So he said that there is no growth of the grass over here since thousands of years. But here in the central part, if you, let's say, 15 to 20 feet ahead. So here in this part, there is a growth of grass. So thousands of years back in that particular scripture, why there is the growth of Vanaspati, Dhruma, Lata, Gulmaha, Padapajatayaha. These are the 4 types of plants in the Vriksha Ayurveda is mentioned. Vanaspati, Dhruma, Lata, Gulmaha, Padapa, Jatayaha. Padapa is the plant. So it can be herbs or a tree or creepers or shrubs. So neither the herb, creeper, tree or shrub has the growth over here, but it is having the very fine growth. You can see this any random herbs growing over here. So what could be the reason? In the biological aspect, in the modern science, they say the xylem and phloem are responsible. Xylem is responsible for taking the water up from the root, and phloem is responsible for taking the food. And then chlorophyll, and then different things we are having, such terminologies we are having. But at thousands of years back also they are having the very fine understanding that where there would be the possible growth of the plant and where there won't be the growth of the plant at all. So firstly, when we talk about such a precision about these pillars, such architectural structure, so very fundamental thing is the measurement. So for measurement, we need the length of each particular part, right? LMT is the dimensional aspect in science term. Length, mass, and time. What would be the mass of each particular entity or the substratum, we can say in the ontological terminological word. And there is the thermal expansion. There is the reinforced cement concrete, right? But which particular material is being used so that there is the much amount of phosphorus which will resist the oxidation of that iron which is being used. So such a in a Rasaratna Samuchaya, it is given. So in the coming slides, you will be getting aware of those precise things which I have presented, and I'll also share the paper later in case you want to read entirely if you have sufficient time. So this is the verse, one of the verse from out of total around 270 words from the Lilavati. This is one of the verse which gives us the value of pi. The modern people know 22 by 7, 22 by 7, 22 by 7, but this is in 12th century. Bhaskaracharya says, Dvavimshatigne Vihrupeta Shailaihi. So Dvavimshati is 22. And Shaila Nama Parvata, and that is the Bhuta Sankhya. So Sapta Mahaparvata, Sapta Parvata. So Dvavimshatikne, Dhra, Vihrupeta Shailaihi. Dhruta means to take the part of dividing. So 22 by 7 gives us the value of pi up to certain decimal 3.1428. If we know the value of pi, here we can know the circumference of this circle as 2 pi r. We can know the area of this circle pi r square. And if we are having the 3-dimensional part, we can know the volume pi r square h. It implies that how much material we need for each pillar. We can have the fantastic precise measurement, isn't it? So that value, and Bhanandagni divided by Kabana Surya gives the more precise value. This is the practical value. It is said by Sri Bhaskaracharya only. Syad vyavahara yogyaha Vavimshatigne Vihruteta Shailaihi Stulothava Syad vyavahara yogyaha. And this is very precise value. Paridesa Sukshmaha. This is the Sukshma. By the Sukshmakshika Buddhi, he gave this value, and we got such a precision thousands years back. And this is just one of the scriptures, Siddhant Shiromani I'm talking about. There are many parallel things which we are having. Okay. And nowadays, one misconception modern people have, because I have observed, I don't know whether you have observed it or not, because when we say Vastu Shastra or something, Jyotish Shastra, means it is Etadrushaka Karyani Bhavitum Arhati, Ekadeva Bhavishyati iti na. We know that. We are aware of it. But there is a precise scientific aspect behind this Vastu Shastra. for architectural aspect, if we say that there is the major role of Vastu Shastra over here, scientific as well as Vastu Shastra aspect. Why there is no growth of plant over here and why there is growth of plant, that is one aspect, both being in the exposure with the water. And how they found such a place, so there is fantastic mathematical methodology. We know the Dasha Disha, Purva Paschim Uttar Dakshin Ishana Nayurta Vayave Urdhvadaha. Such a Disha we know, but depending on whether it is the Yugma or a Yugma. This is the terminological word. So Yugma and a Yugma. So one is for the odd part and one is for the even part. So this is the etymology I have given, Vasanivase. And the meaning is Vasanti Praninaha Yatra, where the living being stays, that is, and it should be finely structured. Hence, the Vastu is required. So that is the main role of that particular Vastu Shastra. So that descriptive research analysis, the second part, when we have the Jnanopattihi. So these are a few treatises I used when I had that research article. Okay, so Vaisheshika and Tarka gives the cause or the reason why there is the growth of the plant in that particular central part and why there is no growth of plant over here. That we can know because Vruksha Abhisarpana Hetu, there is one of the aphorism comes in the Vaisheshika Darshana. Vruksha Abhisarpana Hetu. Abhisarpana means going up. So what is the Hetu? Adrushtakaritam. This is the aphorism comes in the Vaisheshika Darshana. So they were very finely aware of such things, we can definitely say. Then the Sthapatya Veda, there we have this kind of, this is the measurement. We will be talking about this in detail because how the new verse came and how we can form the new verse very simply, that you will get to know. This is one thing. This is the screenshot from one particular research article. Okay, so that particular respective person formed all this name, the Sakala or the Pechaka or the Pitha, Mahapitha, ityadi. So he formed this in the mathematical part. Means, wait, stop. Okay. So this is the function of x square, where x becomes the number of site nomenclature. Means how many plot we need, that becomes the important mathematical aspect. If it is only one, then that is the center. That itself is the center. Now let's say if we are having two such plots. So the square of that 2 will be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Such 4 squares will be having, and here we'll be having the central part. Now later, if we are having 3 such plots, then the square of 3 becomes 9. So this is the thing, and let's say this is the central part. So the exposure of this element in Taittiriya Upanishad, there is one verse, Tasmat or Tasmat, Akasha Sambudha Akashat Vayuhu Vayu Agnihi Agnerapah Adbhya Prithvi Ityadi. So if that particular herb or the plant is about to grow, and let's say that is a Parthiva, there is a Prithvi aspect as well as the Jala aspect. But if for 3, let's say there is a Pitha Mandala, 9 square, 3 pada. So for 3 pada, the square of that 3 pada becomes 9. And for that, this central part will not be having the exposure of this element. And hence there won't be the growth of such things which require this element. For example, water or Agni ityadi for the growth. Because for photosynthesis, Prakasha Samsleshana, Tejas is also required, Jala is also required. But for, let's say, such particular part, the central part, if we choose this where it won't be having much exposure. So we can say there won't be the growth of desired herbs or anything. If you keep on adding the number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that way, we'll keep on getting the increment in the plot. Precisely just now while presenting, one day before I reached there, Ernakulam, in Kerala. So in the Sringeri Matha, the central part, they have the tool. Whenever you go, please observe this. And I could correlate this mathematical aspect. In beside the temple, so the Tulsi Tiara, they have at the central part. That particular rectangular thing that was on the central part, and I counted it was 9 by 9. So you can easily count it's 81, and that part was at the center, or means if this is 81, this much. So this much we like this. It will be, if it is 81, then this much part, this much 81 pairs will be covered, and then which would be the central part that is decided. Then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 such connecting part will be decided. So here, which particular thing we must have here, which particular whether, for example, let's say kitchen or bedroom. This is the very fundamental example I'm giving. So here they had the part where they can throw tulsi carrot. And then the until and unless there is no sunset, there will be starting from the sunrise till the point sunset we have. For all the, let's say, entire 11, 12 hours, there will be the exposure of sun rays. So in that particular part, they're having kitchen, and so it is the Vasanti Praninaha Yatra. So it is purely scientific, and we can observe such things. So we should not feel like, oh, if we do this, then the good will happen. But why the good will happen? There is basic fundamental. If there is the continuous exposure of this, let's say, sun ray, then what would be the temperature with respect to some other aspect? If the temperature is higher here, so what would be the affection on the some other elements? So that is entire scientific ground we can think of. So we'll be taking question directly at last, right? Or in between, I think here some pop-up came as a question.
It's actually better to take it at last so that, maybe through your talk, you might be covering those already. So
Okay.
at the end of it, if you take that, it'll be better.
Okay. So this is what I was talking about from the Rasaratna Samuchaya. So thousands of years back, we are having this treatise where in central part also, if we go Haryana, there also in the architectural aspect, we are having a vertical pillar. That vertical pillar is not having the corrosion or the rust. These are the pictures of some bolts or nuts or some, these are the metals, precisely the iron, and they get corroded. The corrosion is the very famous prakriya we all are aware of. Okay. Whenever it comes in the contact with the moisture or the water precisely, which is having the much moisture, so there will be the oxidation. And because of the oxidation, there will be the ferrous oxide, ferric oxide, such things are responsible, and they are having the red color. So this is, it means kshayaha. In Sanskrit we say kshiyate, kshayaha bhavati. It is degrading. Okay, and then it won't be able to hold much of the thing, like different this beam and pillar we are having, right? So this particular mathematical symbol C14, C9, C14, C15, depending whether the decay is from the central part or from the periphery or from the bottom, etc. So they gave such a convention. So this might be 100 or maybe at most 160, 170 years back. So just not even before 200 years ago, something which was constructed is getting under the process of corrosion. It is decaying. But this particular temple, which is there since thousands of years, so there is no corrosion at all, because which material to use? As I mentioned, I am doing the punarukti of the same thing. If we are having phosphorus, then it will prevent oxidation of that particular iron part. So which kind of iron we must use? And in iron also, all the type of iron are not magnetic. From the domain aspect, there are paramagnetic material, diamagnetic material, and ferromagnetic material. So those who are from scientific background, they will be very much aware of this terminologies: paramagnetic, diamagnetic, and ferromagnetic. All the iron cannot be used as a magnet. So which particular material must be, let's say, wrought iron, if it is magnetic? So whether it will get under the process of oxidation easily or not, or if it is non-magnetic iron, then whether it will go under the process of oxidation. Oxidation means whenever it comes in the contact with water, H2O, that H plus and OH minus ion. So there is the prakriya of oxidation, means that moisture, and that leads to the decay of the particular element. So which particular type of iron we must use for the construction, so that even though we are having a lot of water exposure, that iron is in the stable state or not changing its state by corrosion, not having the degradation. So you all can read. So Munda, Tikshna, and Kanta. This is the particular chapter and this is the verse number. And the rasa is the Rasa Ratna Samuchaya. So that is all about the alchemy, the chemical aspect. How, in what proportion, in how much proportion, in with what material we must add it, so that we'll get this. Okay, for example, we feel like we have the sulfate ion, SO4 2 minus. It is one is cation, one is anion. So when we heard this terminology from the school, we feel like this is the only science. But here in the different way, they are expressing. There might not be the terminology as a phosphorus. There might not be the terminology as a sulfate. There might not be the terminology as iron. Because it is in a different language. From the different verbal root they are derived, right? The Latin and the Greek verbal root. But this is in Sanskritam, it is given the same thing. And hence they could develop such a construction which is not having degradation even after thousands of years. So Mundam, Tikshnam, Chakantam cha Tri Prakaram Ayah Smrutam. So these are the three types. Mundam, Tikshnam, Chakantam cha. Out of this major three types, all the three types are non-magnetic. So the particular type which is magnetic might face some difficulty in oxidation. That is good for us. If it is facing the difficulty in oxidation, that is the corrosion prakriya, it won't degrade easily. So we'll opt for that particular material if we want to have such a vast or the massive construction. And then you can read this verse later. Munda, Tikshna, Kanta, there are also different type. Kuntham, Kadaram cha Trividham Mundam Uchyate. Mrudu, Kuntham, and Kadaram. So this Mrudu, Kunda, and Kadaram. This is for Munda type. And then Karam, Saram, Charunnalam, Tara, Vattam, Chavajiram. Kara, Sara, Runnala, Taravatta, Vajira, and Kalaloha. Kalaloha Bidhanancha Shadvidam Tikshnam Uchyate. And in the same way, for Kanta, there are Brahmaka, Chumbaka, then Karshaka, Gravaka, Chaturvida, Romakantam cha Panchamam. So out of these five, let's say any one of, or maybe the alloy, they know how to make the alloy, because if you observe, this is the pure iron which is getting oxidized easily. But if we are having alloy, we add a little carbon in it, becomes steel. We add chromium, etc., to have the firm strength. So all that is mentioned over here in the Rasaratna Samuchaya. And for dimension, very microscopic. Now we start from let's say for microscopic, we start from kilo is 10 to the power 3, then kilo, mega, giga, and we keep on moving. Deci, kilo, mega, giga, that way. And for microscopic also we are having deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, pico, femto, etc. So we used to go microscopically in the backward direction as 0.000 up to 10 decimal, 12 decimal, 15 decimal. At the same instant, we keep on increasing the zeros. But in Leelavati, there is a verse starting from Ekadasha Shata Sahasra with the Lakshapara Yuddha Kotaya Kramataha Arbudam Abjam Kharva Nikharva Maha Patma Shankava Tasmat Jaladish Chantyam Madhyam Parardam Dashagunitra Sanya. So this place decimal value system, we feel like, oh, 10 to the power 3 is kilo, 10 to the power 6 is mega, then we have 10 to the power 9, then we have 10 to the power 12, that way. Or the terminology of million, billion, trillion, we feel like it is a modern terminology, but Dasha Gunottara Sanyaha means the multiple of 10, you keep on increasing the 10. There is the Sanya for each until the 17 zero. Jaladi Chantam Madhyam Parardham. So till Parardham, starting from Ekadasha Shata Sahasra Ayuta till Parardham, we are having the macroscopic aspect. In the same manner, for a practical microscopic aspect, in the form of angulam, yojanam is much macroscopic. So the Yamangula Hasta Danta Krosha Yojana Vancha Nivartana Ganahasta. And the Ganahasta is for 1 cubit. And then if we are having or one particular unit, and then we can make multiple unit out of it. For example, how many bricks are required to form this cube? It not be the single brick in case. So how many bricks are required? For that also we are having the verses in the Bijaganitam or the Siddhanta Shiromani Grantha composed by Sri Bhaskaracharya, where hence we can have the precise measurement. This is also, see, this is also a rectangle, and this is not the cube because the length and breadth is same, hence it is, let's say, square. But the height is not same as that of the L and the B, length and the breadth. So how much height must be there? So what kind of, or how much material we must add? But that is fine. For one, you can make, even if you follow the randomness, it's fine. But for all the pillars in line, which are parallel to each other, 8 or 9 such pillars parallel to each other, dimension of all the cuboid or a cube or a cylinder, whatever shape, mathematical or geometrical shape you take it into consideration, it is same for each and every individual pillar. So now consider the kind of precision they will be having, and without mathematical measurement, without the scientific knowledge, it is not possible at all. Okay, the molding a particular massive thing, but which is uniform. Molding the random thing, it's fine. You just integrate the materials, it will get molded. But to seek the uniformity, that is something which is of great appreciation. And there is some reason, because we are having such treatises, we just need to look after it. In conference, there was one talk. Many such eminent scholars gave the talk. But in the Prakruta Sandarbha, as we are moving, I want to say one thing. So the topic was the treasure under the wooden box. Means out of one particular, let's say Devadatta was sitting under the wooden box. And we asked Devadatta, why you are sitting under this wooden box? Why you are not opening this wooden box? So that Devadatta replied, no, I'm not going to open this wooden box because my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, since many centuries, all are sitting under this wooden box. They are not opening it. So he just, after so much of discussion, he just said, you please kindly open this and see what is there, in case you find something. And when that Devadatta opened that wooden box, there was the more than hundreds of kilograms of jewelry. It was a great treasure under that locked wooden box. So I feel like that it must be in the library, this Rasaratna Samuchaya, or like many of us even don't know what is, they just know one thing, that Leelavati was the daughter of Bhaskaracharya. But if we ask how many verses we are having in the Leelavati, they say we don't have any idea. What is the major granth for Leelavati, which is Siddhanta Shiromani. And that Siddhanta Shiromani is having the 4 different parts, Goladhyaya, Graha Ganitam, Bija Ganitam, and this Leelavati. So if we open that box, that we are having a lot of treasure, and then and only then will be able to fulfill this. Because whatever came in the very first part was the Jnana Grahanam. Whatever was the part of syllabus, that was the Jnana Grahanam. But now, for a Jnanotpattihi, what we need to, which kind of seed we need to sow and what we have to grow, that is very important to understand. Okay, so this is the very practical application we discussed, where the mathematics came and the measurement came, the pure science. Now we have 2 minutes and then we'll go for a discussion. So in that few remaining part, let us discuss how I found the words. So this is the Manda Kranta Chanda. Maybe all the listeners are aware of Anushtup Chanda. It is very famous. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, you all are aware of. Okay, so that is in majority of the verses are in 8, 8, 8, 8. What each charana or each pada is in Anushtup. But the number of syllables maybe 11 sometime, maybe 17 sometime, 19 sometime, it varies. So as the number of syllables varies in each charana, the Aksharagana Vrutta, the name of that chanta also varies. So this in the Mandakranta, if you measure, this is intentionally colored in after orange we have blue and the green, again orange and again green, and then the 2 remaining one. So if you count in the trika, in the group of 3, so 3 plus 3, 6 plus 3, 9 plus 3, 12 plus 3, 15 plus 2, 17, and then 17, 17, 17, 17. Why 4 times I considered? Because this is the first charana, Vrutta Kshetre Paridigunita Vyasapada Kalantatu. Then comes the second charana, having the same number of syllables. Shunnam Vedaihi Upari Parita Kandukasya Vajalam. Then the third one, Volasyavam Tadapi Chapalam Prushtajam Vyasanigdam. Again 17 syllables. Shadbihi Bhaktam Bhavatiniyatam Golagarbhe Ganaksham. This is very interesting and beautiful verse, which gives us the, if we know the circumference as 2 pi r, it gives us the area as pi r square. And then we project it to 3 dimension. It gives us the surface area of the sphere which we got as 4 pi r square. See, Veda is Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. That is 4. So Vedaihi Upari, Shunnam, Ved means whatever is remaining, that pi r square. Shunnam, Vedaihi Upari, Paritah Kandukasyeva Jalam. That particular spherical part, it is like in the analogical way, you attach the net to the entire Kandukam, entire sphere, you attach the net. And when we integrate in the modern calculus, in integration, we have the integration to find the area of particular given surface or area under the curve. So this is kind of the integration only. Having the square and small square, you add it, you will get the surface area of entire kandukam, that is the spherical part. And then you multiply it by golasyevam tadapicha phalam prusthajam vyasanignam. You multiply it by diameter and divide it by 6. And the diameter is 2r. So you will get 4 by 3 pi r cube. So this is the derivation in the form of poetic words. So what I felt is that I'm observing this particular part continuously. I visited this temple. I'm observing this. So this is not a sphere. In the I searched out of all the 270 verses of Leelavati. There is nothing about the volume of this cube. I went deep into the Siddhant Shiromani. Achha, there is nothing about the measurement in the way the Bhaskaracharya has projected for circle to sphere. So one thought came, let us try to do it. So firstly, instead of Vrutta Namaka Kshetra, Vrutta Kshetra means circular Kshetra, circle. And from that circle, you project it to 3 dimension, you will get the sphere. But here, I don't want sphere. What we want is the cube. And what we are going to project? We are going to project the square. So instead of Vrutta Kshetra, I wrote as Varga Kshetra, Varga Kshetre. And Paridhi is the perimeter. Any closed 2-dimensional surface has the perimeter. And one thing we need to understand, where the technology can help us is this binaries, ones and zeros. Instead of, for Chanda Shastra, there is the root of Laghu and Guru. And the aphorisms from Ashtadhyayi are complementary for this Laghu and Guru to give the terminology as Rasvam Laghu, Sanyoge Guru, Tirkancha. This aphorisms comes in the Ashtadhyayi. So whatever is Rasva is Laghu, whatever is Dirgha is Guru Sanyaka. And even if it is Laghu, but there is Sanyoga just after it, Tasmat Pare Sanyoga Asti Chet, the prior syllable becomes, even if it is Rasva, it becomes Guru Sanyaka. So here, instead of Laghu, let us have it 0. And instead of Guru, let us have it 1. There are a few books composed on this algorithm. One of the book I'll name in case if you want to look after, Meru Prastara. So the Meru Prastara is very famous book which is about the algorithmic approach for this prosody, Laghu and Guru. So here the Bhaja Sa Ya Ra Ta Mana Adi Madhyava Saneshu Bhajasa Yanti Gavravam Yarata Laghavam Yanti Manautu Guru Laghavam. Guru, 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 Lagu, Lagu, Lagu. So that way we can give the terminology to this Bhaja Sa Ya Ra Ta Mana. So you can find out that for Mandakranta, this 111 means Ma. This 100. Can someone unmute please and tell me if this 111 is corresponding to Ma? You can observe right here this Bha, Ja, Sa, Ya, Ra, Ta, Ma and Na. So you can observe. So this 111 means Ma. So someone from you, Shrota Gana, please answer this question quickly. Just unmute. If possible, and just answer that 100 corresponds to which Gana out of this 8 Gana of Bha, Ja, Sa, Ya, Ra, Ta, Ma and Na. If someone can please, 10
Bha.
corresponds to
Bha.
Bha. Absolutely correct. 100 corresponds to Bha. So first is Ma, then Bha, Ma, Bha. This 000 corresponds to what?
No.
No, the 000 is no. And then 110 corresponds to
Ta.
Ta. And again we are having 110 which is ta. So this Ma, Ba, Na, ta, and this ga, ga. This is guru and guru. So in the case of, not in the form of laghu or guru, but analogically considering laghus as 0 and gurus as 1, if we feed this to the computer or the machine is going to give us the output, the desired output. So here, see, this is the verse, 201st verse of Nilavati, Vrutta Kshetre Paridhi Gunita, which gives us the area and the volume and the surface area of this three-dimensional object. But this is, I wrote here as a self-made slok because I just did little bit here and there, and the verse is in front of you. So this red part, I changed. So instead of Vrutta Kshetre, I did Varga Kshetre, means in the Kshetra of square. Varga Kshetre, Paridhi Gunita, Va Paridhi Gunanath. Now there is a reason why I changed this. Even the Bhaskaracharya follows the same such kind of things. I'll share the examples later. That instead of here, see, Vrutta Kshetre Paridhi Gunita. Now Gunita is some Krudanta Shabda, let's say Gunita. So instead of that Gunita, I wrote here as Gunanath. Gunanath means after the Gunanath, Tasmat Anantaram. So some basic fundamental knowledge of Sanskrit is required, and the basic fundamental knowledge of this Chanda Shastra, so that there won't be the Chanda Bhanga. And that is the only reason, instead of Gunita, I need to do it as Gunanath, so that this becomes 1. And there won't be the zeros in the place of 1, and there will be ones in the place of zeros. Otherwise, there will be the error 404 found. That way, the machine will show us. So, Varga Kshetre Paridhi Gunanath Bahupada Alantat. So, the Paridhi of the square is 4s. If s is the one of the side, then the Paridhi is 4s. Paridhi Gunanath Bahu is the side of the square. So, Paridhi Gunanath Bahu, Tasya Gunanam. So that is 4s square. But the area of square is s square, s being the side. So what we have to do is, here, Padaha. Paridhi Gunanath Bahu Padaha. Padaha is the 1/4. So 1/4 of this 4s square is going to give us the s square, which is the area of the square. Now let us project it to 3 dimension. So Shunnam means whatever is remaining, that is s square. Angaihi upari. Here Bhaskaracharya used Vedaihi upari. Vedair upari paritah tandukasya vajalam. And Veda as a Bhuta Sankhya, it is 4. He wanted to multiply by 4. But here I wanted to multiply it by, let's say, some different number, 6. So, but I have only 2 syllables. And precisely both the syllable must be 1. Okay, so Anga, there is Vedanga, right? Shadanga. So Vedanga corresponds for 6. So Angaihi upari parita Brundasyevatra jalam. Here some change was required because of the Samanarthaka Shabda and the restriction of 1s and 0s, so that there won't be the Chanda Bhanga. So this second Pada gives us the surface area of the cube, 6s square. Then Vrundasyaivam Tadapicha Phalam Prishtajam Ahu Nignam. Nigna means if we multiply 6s square again by s, we'll get 6s cube. And the volume of cube we all are aware of. If the side is s, then volume must be s cube. And here we are having 6s cube. So we need to divide by 6. So Shadbihi Bhaktam. This remains as it is because it is giving us the desired output. Shadbihi Bhaktam means divide by 6. You can see the mathematical aspect just after the individual charana I have written, and we are getting the desired output. Shadbihi Bhaktam Bhavati Niyatam Vrundagarbhe Ganatyam. Vrundagarbhe means if you fill this entire Vrunda, entire cube with the water, oil, honey, anything, you can measure the density of that particular padartha. So such a precision we are having in our different scriptures, but it should not be in the very well furnished library. It must be in the Mastishka, then and only then this second phase is going to come. So this science, technology, and architecture, the intersection we saw by different treatises. But this absorbing, first we need to absorb, that is the Jnana Grahana phase. And then and only then, for a Jnanotpatti, either we can nurture the new brains, what we got, and that is what the Akhanda Parampara, Evam Parampara. And along with that, Jnana Grahanam, Jnanotpatti, discovering the new things, that is also important at the same instant. But this is the secondary phase. So the secondary phase is only going to come if we are having the primary phase and we are learning it, we are absorbing it very finely and making it clear that yes, we have to go for the secondary phase, whether to nurture others and to discover something from our own scriptures. Okay, different phase we talked about. Now let us go for discussion phase. So I hope I tried my best, Yatha Shakti, Yathamati. I catered, and yes, there is the time restriction. So later we can discuss more and more in case you have more questions. But right now, regarding whatever we had discussed, in case someone wants to ask something or someone wants to counter something, so it's fine. It's let us go for the discussion phase for next few minutes. Might give us new discovery, who knows?
Yeah, thanks a lot for that exposition, Manthan. I think this was a very good eye-opener of sorts for us to understand that Indian knowledge systems is not restricted to only what we are exposed to in the universities, with restricted departments, restricted subject departments. It has become very repetitive that university after university, Sanskrit department after Sanskrit department is dealing with Sanskrit only as a language and very mildly as a knowledge medium without getting into the application aspect. And I think what you have kind of presented today shows the seamless coordination, seamless sort of application oriented coordination between the Shastras, how they actually scaffold each other to bring out applications. So this is amazing, and I'm very, very happy to find in you, who is such a young and dynamic, a young man who is into this. I understand you have a very good background in the pure sciences also, and somebody like you who is able to explore these arenas of Sanskrit medium based sciences and Western sciences is somebody who can really create a lot of this Jnanotpatti, which is what you are proposing here. I'm very thankful that you accepted our request with such short notice. And I am opening it out for people, whoever want to comment, whoever want to respond, whoever want to question whatever has been presented by Manthan ji here.
I had an observation, if nobody else is speaking. From Jnana Grahanam to Jnanotpatti, it requires so many skills, right, to be developed. One is, you just demonstrated the number of skills that were needed. One is obviously a very strong Sanskritam proficiency, knowledge of the Chandas, right? And then in each of the technology areas, you need to know that particular Shastra. It's quite overwhelming and daunting. So this is not specifically Manthanji to you, but this is more of a philosophical question, given that we are an institution that is trying to promote Vedic sciences, right? It is not possible for everybody to become an expert in all fields. And yet there needs to be some sharing of ideas and coming together of skills, right? So that this process is expedited. This jnanotpatti has to, basically understanding the concepts and then coming up with the next level of the, the building, the architecture on top of the concepts. How do we do this actually? It's more of a philosophical question. Because I think all of us are in a space where we would like to start moving from what we obviously know in our Shastras to building the next level of knowledge, which is currently not there in the Shastras, which needs to be deduced, right, as part of time. So I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, definitely it is philosophical question. But what I personally feel like that there won't be the imparting, the forceful impartment on the other field. For example, if I like physics, if I like mathematics, if I like this particular programming aspect, then I will find the parallelism in our Shastra, or I will extract or make such new things. Like, definitely one cannot be the master of everything, rarest of the rare maybe. So we all are matured enough to understand where we are having the interest. So once we know that this is the field where I have the urge to discover something. So in that particular field, after choosing, as I started with the verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I would happy to answer this in the form of words from Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself, because it is related to the answer. The verse is from the second adhyaya. Ekeha Kuru Nandana. Bahushakha hi anantascha buddhayah hi avyavasayina. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. It's the word starts with this. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha Kuru Nandana. So we all, the Kuru Nandanas, so we need to decide that one particular branch and continuously hammer that one particular branch. And then and only then we are going to have this Jnanotpatti. Otherwise, in the second charana, the Bhagavan Yogeshwara Krishna is saying a danger that there won't be anything, there won't be the Jnanotpatti. Bahu Shakha hi Anantascha. There are infinite branches. Buddhayah hi avyavasayina. Then we are not going to have anything. So we need to find something that one or two branches that we can continuously hammer on, we can dig vertically deep into it. So that finding our interest and then digging deeper into our Shastra, that would be the one of the pathways. So first we need to ask ourselves what I know or what I like or what is the need of an hour. But sometimes the need of an hour won't be parallel or matching with my interest. So firstly, discovering the interest and finding the parallelism. The second way would be easier for us, I think. Personally, that's what I feel.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, thanks, Manthan. Thank you. Dhanyavadah bhavaha tatra bhavadhi samayaha atra yapitaha iti. And I am looking forward to more interests from people to dive deeper into these. I would like to kind of bring to notice of people who are interested that if you are interested in pure science based learning of IKS, maybe we have Manthanji who will be able to help us with a textual immersion course or something like that going ahead.
There is a Manthanji who is having the mentorship of the very great eminent scholars, hence Manthanji can slowly move. So
all of us are guru trataha, so don't I think that is something common for all of us, so no problems about that. But we do have a resource person here who will be able to help us with application based and science based scientific thinking in Indian knowledge system, something based in that. So anybody who was interested in going into an immersive textual learning of texts of those backgrounds, if there are any takers, we would be glad to open out our resource to you. Okay, with that, Manthan ji, we thank you a lot for your time and your contribution here. We'll meet up again sometime. Sure.
सर्वज्ञो अद्य एतावता नमस्ते।